guys, so I'm working on this here BMW 528e from, I think it's 1987, 1988. It's pretty old. However, it has a 1994 BMW E36 325i engine in it, the M50 B25. It's got a turbo on it, and it's got 630cc injectors on it, and I'm gonna tune it with a Link G4X plug-in ECU. And right now, I'm gonna show you what I'm about to do to this car to ensure that tuning goes smoothly. Stop now. Clutches are fucked. Yeah. Stop. Right here. There it is. Okay, so as I was kind of going through the idle tuning, I noticed it was idling pretty high. I have an idle target of about 700 RPM, and it was idling at like 1200. So I figured there's a vacuum leak on the intake manifold. So in doing this smoke test, this is something that we really recommend doing for every car that's going to get dyno tuned. We call this is a part of the PDI or pre-dyno inspection, where we perform a smoke test using the machine that I'm using right now, which is a smoke tester. It just pushes smoke into the intake system, and wherever there's an actual vacuum leak, it does it with very light pressure, so about 3 psi. It pushes smoke into the intake, and it shows you essentially where you would have a boost leak, which could also be considered a vacuum leak. In this case, there's a nipple, a vacuum nipple right under the throttle body on these engines that right now it's just open, so it's leaking and it's sucking air through that with the throttle closed. Also, I found there's a coupler on here that has a fitting for the idle air control valve, and that is not fastened in any way. So give me a second, let me take it off and I'll show you. So let me get it. Smoky. So right now the machine's running. That's how much smoke it puts in at about 3 pounds of pressure, or 3 psi. And then you can see right here, this fitting. Let me turn the machine off to stop blowing smoke at us. So this fitting right here, this hose goes to the idle air control valve, which in turn hooks on to the back of the intake manifold here behind the throttle body. This is just like a hole and a barb fitting pressed in. This is gonna blow off. Oh, there it goes, down to the floor. This is just gonna blow off with very light amount of boost. It's also gonna be a boost leak until it blows off, and then once it blows off, it's gonna be a huge boost leak. So this has to get replaced because this is compromised. This coupler has to get replaced, and that fitting has to be moved onto the pipe, welded. So I'll have Eric weld a fitting for me here for that hose. The reason why on these engines this is recirculated is because the idle valve inlet to the intake manifold, it's a fitting that's got an O-ring, and it's got a single like press-on clip, and those like to come off under boost. if you don't recirculate it into the system. So you have to leave that valve open and have the system recirculating, because otherwise it'll come off and it's a massive hole behind the intake manifold and the engine will just rev to the moon. It'll basically hit the limiter. So that has to get installed and done properly to avoid that in the future. So as you can see right here, that's the hole. Basically, like, I'd say that's like close to a 1-inch hole. So pretty big. You don't want that there. So we're gonna buy a coupler and replace this. We don't have this type of coupler in stock. This is a reducing 90-degree coupler. It's pretty uncommon. So we have to order that, wait for it to come in. For now, I'll take the throttle body off, cap that nipple that's being vented right now. And in the meantime, I'm actually gonna have to go over all the hoses that go to that idle air control valve and put clamps on them to make sure that doesn't come off on their boost. So that's what I'm gonna be doing with this. And this is what you get, the kind of things that you get done to your car when you pay for a pre-dyno inspection. If I would have just put this car on the dyno and I would have tried to do a pull, it would have had a massive vacuum leak, which would have made the car essentially not be able to complete the tune. And if you don't pay for the PDI and we just strap the car down on the dyno and go to tune it and there's any kind of issue, we just take it off, and we unfortunately, because we spend time tuning it on the dyno and strapping the car down, we have to charge you for the tune. So this, in a way, if you're unsure about how your car was assembled and put together, and if you're unsure of things that need to get done, you know, addressed and stuff like that, then this is a good way to guarantee that you don't lose that tuning money and you don't waste our time, we don't waste your time or your money. So it's a pretty good insurance. So we highly recommend that you do a PDI. If the car was not built by us, it's something that we highly recommend. So we're done tuning the BMW. It made about 300 horsepower at about 14 pounds of boost. It's got a big restriction on the exhaust right now. So the full exhaust is 2.5 from the turbo back. Being a 6-cylinder, that's kind of restrictive for these. So we were kind of limited on power on that end. And also the 91 octane with the 10-to-1 compression is not like the best mixture. So this car would benefit from a full 3-inch exhaust and a flex fuel tune greatly. Like it would easily would make 50 to 100 horsepower more. So hopefully the owner, you know, enjoys it for a while and maybe wants to get a little bit more out of it and brings it back to us with those mods so that we can crank it up a little bit more. This car was completely built by Innovative Auto House here in Iowa. I think they did a great job with the swap. So if you guys have an older BMW that wants to get refreshed and get a swap like this done, then hit them up. They do great work. So once they're done doing the swap, you can bring it to us to get it tuned and we can complete your package. So thank you for watching the video. Hit like, hit comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and catch us on the next video.